Chapter 5 First Love. This chapter is all going to be about my first love, Tasha. I'm putting her in this book as its own chapter because it is a pinnacle part of my life. It is a struggle I've gone through, and it is also entertaining and sad at the same time. And I wouldn't be who I am without that, going through that experience, without that, having that experience. She was my sister's friend. I met her through my sister. We used to walk to school and walk by her house. And we'd pick her up and we'd all walk to school together. The first interaction I had with her, she had sent me a note. I still remember it to this day because my memory is on point. I like to sit and study people. I like to remember things. It's why I want to be a lawyer, because I can pick something out that somebody had said and go, look, that's not what you said. You said this. So the letter wrote, I don't know your name, but I think you're cute. My name is Latasha Marie Hartman. People call me Tasha. And that is how it started. We had met, and I was wearing these horrible Christmas sweaters. Horrible. I don't know why. They were nice and cozy, but they were just horrible Christmas sweaters. We had started dating. School had let out. She was going, we were walking home before we'd gotten out. We'd just gotten out of the building and met her. I had met them outside the building. We kissed for the first time, and it was the first time I've ever felt like that. I've ever felt like that twice in my life. I've only told two people I love you, one being her, and the second being my wife. And I think that going through all this in high school and having the perspective I did helped me change the perspective about love. I'll give you a little backstory. My parents have been together since like 16. My father's only been with my mother. So I thought in high school that was it. That was how love was supposed to go. That is how this is supposed to work. So I put I put a lot more into this first love, having that behind my head. My little sister has done the same thing. She's found Andrew at a young age, and they are together. They have lived together, and they did adulting together before, like, they had responsibilities before she had gotten pregnant. Like, she wanted to graduate college, and she did all this, and they got an apartment, and they did all this together before she had gotten pregnant. She has her head on straight, and it makes me so very proud of her. So we met. Again, if you read the past chapter, I do not do school functions. That means school dances. But I wanted to be around her, so I would go to school dances. The first school dance I went to was supposed to be with her. I went with my sister and her boyfriend at the time, which happened to be one of my good friends, Robert. He had this pleather jacket that I wore. Like, I looked really cool. So I gotta tell you a story. I would wear his pleather jacket. I'd wear a button-up t-shirt to look nice. It would be untucked, and I'd have a tank top underneath. And I would have phases of the dance. I would get there, I would take the leather jacket off, put it at the seat at the table we were sitting at, and then halfway through the night, the button-up shirt would come off, and I'd be in the tank top. Every time, it never failed. So this first dance, I get there, and she had happened to bring another guy. This should have been like a red flag, and it pissed me off so much that I went to the bathroom with Robert, and I punched the wall in the bathroom. So much so that this dude was at least a foot taller than me. I exaggerate. He wasn't taller than me. That taller. He was taller. Maybe it wasn't like a foot taller than me. And I scared him. He was terrified that I was going to fight him. I decided that I wasn't. Robert helped me, and I just spent the rest of the night dancing with other females and having a good time. Other times when I went to the dances, we would actually dance. That was like the one and only time that happened. First time we broke up, I got a phone call from her friend. It was the weekend. We hadn't been dating a couple days, and she said, sorry, she had gone to Elmira and had hooked back up with her ex-boyfriend from Elmira. She was from Elmira. So I get this phone call saying, sorry, it's not going to work out. She's back with this guy. And again, another red flag. I miss a lot of these red flags. But I didn't let it defeat me. I was like, she's the one. She's the one that I want to give my virginity to. She's the one I want to be with for the rest of my life. I happened to be 18 at the time. We had got back together. We were dating for a couple months, and we had sex for the first time. She was a virgin. I was a virgin. And my memory, I could still remember the date. It was December 28th, and I was 18 years old, about to turn 19. We were out sledding. Amber had taken her little brother and Alex sledding. We were all alone in the basement, and let me tell you, it was not romantic at all. I was wearing my overalls. I fumbled putting the condom on. When we did start to have sex, it hurt her, so I had apologized. I spent most of the time asking her if this was okay and asking her if this was if she was all right. I would go to do this until I irritated my wife doing this after a couple times of us doing it, because I was always taught that women are above God. So you must protect them. You must make sure they're okay. And with everything going on in 2000s, I was always afraid. So when I'm afraid or concerned, I can never hold anything in. I always have to say it. So I say it instead of talking about it later, which I did too. I talked about it then. I've now learned that I can read people, really good at reading people, and I should just stick with my intuition. I didn't back then, or this would have been over. We had dated several times for 4 years on and off. We went to my junior prom, her junior prom, and my senior prom. My junior prom was at the Radisson. I almost didn't get to go because I'd gotten into a fight and suspended the day before. And rules were if you're suspended in school suspension or any trouble right before the dance, you couldn't go. However, they let me go anyways because my dad went into the office and stuck up for me, which he did every time. He thought that when I got in trouble, I didn't deserve it, which was awesome. He always had my back. I remember it. I went to go with her. She had taken the guy I got into a fight with. I did get to dance with her, but I spent the night with another ex-girlfriend of mine, Hillary, who is now married to one of my good friends since middle school. That's awesome. But I ended up with her the whole night, so I did enjoy my junior prom. It wasn't a mess. Her junior prom was at the Corning Museum of Glass. I think it was. Or maybe that was my senior prom. But we spent the whole night together. We were together then. My senior prom, I was nervous. I had to put the corset on her. I was nervous. Like, there were pictures of me up that I have that my mom kept. I was nervous. Took pictures next to my mom. I wore a nice outfit, and the night it was good. It was memorable. The decorations were awesome. The dancing was awesome, and we spent time with friends there because it was my senior, so most of the people there were people I knew, but we were actually together then. I had won her over by doing sweet things. One Christmas, I had put a stuffed teddy bear in her locker because I knew her locker combination. She knew mine, just in case one of us got out before the other one did. So I'd stuffed this big, giant teddy bear. And it was adorable when she found it. We wrote a lot of notes together. We were known by everybody together. I had perfected a walk. My feet don't go straight. They go at like a 45-degree angle, maybe 35. So I would hold her from behind and we'd walk. And I had a teacher go, I don't know how you do that. Well, it's because I have duck feet. But I did. We would get together. She would break up because she would date somebody else. We were just teenagers. I really should have took that time to date somebody else, but I didn't. I'd go through heartache, and then I would be her friend again, and then I'd date her. Her mom was funny because she would be mad at me while I dated her, but every time I broke up with her daughter, she would be like, you should come over. You should really date her. She's dating somebody I don't like. Her Aunt Judy, I love. She is also my aunt. Her grandmother, I love. She's like a grandmother to me. Both those ladies were very supportive. They both talked to me. They talked to me after everything had shattered. So, we had been together for this last time. I had proposed. My buddy just came out of the military because he was told that he was either to do college or the military in order to live at home. And he tried college and it didn't work because he wasn't studying stuff he wanted to study. So he joined the military. He'd come back out and he'd come back with a lot of money. So I was like, wait a second. I want to get married. I want to get married fast. I want to do it reasonable. So I talked to recruiter. I picked 92 Alpha, which is Automated Logistics Specialist, which just means warehouse specialist. We're at the front of the warehouse, the back of the warehouse, in the warehouse. I was guaranteed $10,000. Now, to a 19-year-old kid, 20-year-old kid, $10,000 is everything. All I had to do was do, it was like 6 months of training, 9 months, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. Yeah, that's what I thought. It was like 9 months of training. Then I could come out and do the reserve, so I would be home, and I would have $10,000. We talked about this. I decided to do it. Her mom wouldn't let her talk me out of it. She said that I must do this for me. And then I joined. I had made it through boot camp, and I'll talk about the military experience in a later chapter. I made it through boot camp. I got into AIT, and it was in AIT that I had gotten a phone call from my mom saying that she had made out with some guy who called himself Mouse outside of my parents' trailer. And when I'm hearing this, I had all my guy buddies around me. All of the support I had through boot camp. Now they had followed me into AIT, and they were rock solid guys. So, with their help, I had called her and ended it. Because when I talked to her, she was like, why don't we just take a break and see where it comes when you get home? And because of their support and because I had had enough, I had told her that's not what I wanted. I was done. It was over. So I had finally ended it. A weight off my shoulder. I had felt so much better after that. I thought that by ending it permanently, that I would be a mess. But because of the sport and because of all this stuff I've had taken over the years, I had felt weightless. I had felt like I had sprung wings and was ready to fly. Some of the things that happened over our course of us dating, one of them was I got a premonition and I told her, I was like, I'm going to lose you to Elmira and Leonard, her ex. She's currently engaged to Leonard and living in Elmira. But for some reason, I ignored it. I let her have that power over me. And I've learned to not. It was at that point I took control back. It was one of the first biggest steps I've taken in my life in the right direction. But I thank God that He put her in my path so that I can learn that. Learn the red flags. Learn how to stand up and say, this is my life. This is what I want. And if it's not the same things that you want, then I'm sorry. But I can't keep sacrificing myself for you. It doesn't help me at all. It doesn't help me grow. It doesn't help me shine. It doesn't help me. So I can take this in two ways. I've taken it in two ways. It is a loss. I lost out on an engagement. I lost out on I lost. And then on the other hand, it's a win. I won respect for myself. I won power for myself. So that's a win and a loss. Life is full of them. So I am at a point now where I take my losses in stride. Let me have them. They're life lessons that I can turn. Because everybody does losses. It's just what you do with them. Do you become depressed and feel like you're defeated? Or do you take them, learn from them, spin them around, and turn it into a win? And I have learned with that first step, with that first big move in my life, that I can take a loss and turn it into a win. I can grow from this. I don't have to let it beat me down all the way. I can get back up. There's a quote from Rocky. It says that life will beat you down and it will continue to beat you down. But it's not how hard you can get hit. It's not how hard you hit, but it's how hard you can get hit and keep getting back up. And I can absolutely, after doing that, after living through that, I can absolutely get hit and get back up. It brings me to a story, another one. We had broken up for the umpteenth time. I had walked home. On my way home, usually we had to cut through Guthrie parking lot. It was like its clinic. My mom worked reception, so I would stop in and see her every day before going home. I had my first anxiety attack this time. I had talked to her. She had seen it. I told her I just want to go home, lay down, and listen to music. I had got home. I had blared my music. I had the big, giant freaking stereo and the speakers sat on the ground. Like, I still want them to this day. It took about not even 20 minutes. My father was home. My mother had sent my father home to make sure that they make sure I was okay. My mother has been my best friend through everything. So she sent him home just to make sure I was okay. And he stopped what he was doing at work just to come home to make sure I was okay. Because my mother, she is just that freaking amazing. I want everybody to have a mother like mine. I want everybody to meet my mom. My mom and my little sister are the best friends I can ask for. I had those two through high school. I had them through my dark times. And then God sent me Chelsea. So now I have 3 people who are absolutely angels when it comes to talking about me, when it comes to talking about my feelings. And I am blessed. And none of this, when I had none of that, if I had gone through what I went through and became stronger for it. Thank you for listening to Chapter 5.